So today, this is your first drum lesson, and I thought what I would do, I'd just go through everything here in a little video, just to make everything kind of clear, because I think online, for your first ever drum lesson, it'd be quite tricky to see some of the little hand grips and things, like when you're trying to look at a tiny screen on a computer. So I thought with a video, it's all a little bit clearer, and I can try and explain it in advance of your very first lesson online. So we're going to start with a couple of snare drum things, snare drum rudiments, which I'm going to do here on this pad. And hopefully you've got a little pad like this. If not, you can play on some kind of cushion or pillow. That works quite well to start with. I've got my pad on a little stand, but you don't need it on a stand. You can just put it on a table or a chair or something. Okay, so let's put that so you can see it. Right, so there's the pad. And you're going to need a pair of sticks. And hopefully you've got a copy of this book, either an actual physical copy or a copy that I've emailed to you that you can download and have in front of you. You can either print it out or you can have it on a screen or something. Okay, so we're going to do a few things from here. I'm going to try today to get done 2 snare drum exercises, so playing things like this, and then we're going to try and do 1 rhythm on a drum kit. I've got an electric drum kit behind me. Okay, ideally we'd do it on a real acoustic drum kit, but I don't. I have a few of them, but I don't have any of them set up. It's not appropriate in the house I live in. So I've got an electric drum kit here, and I'm going to show you how you can practice it on the pad as well. So let's get started. Hopefully you've got a pair of sticks. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is learn how to hold a pair of sticks. So what you do is you take a stick. I'm going to assume most of you are right-handed. Obviously, if you're not, start with your left hand, it's fine. But I will start with my right hand, okay? And you hold the stick 2/3 the way down the stick, like this, with your thumb and your forefinger. Okay, so your thumb and your forefinger, first 2 fingers here, hold the stick like that, okay? Now, these other fingers, they get wrapped around the stick like that, so that this part of the finger is on the stick like that. Okay, so it's not holding the stick like this, and you're not holding the stick like that, like you're making a fist. You're holding the fingers around like this, there. Okay, so it should look something like that. And then what you do is you turn your hand over so that your thumb is just on the inside of the stick like that. So it's not on the top of the stick, there. You roll your wrist around so that it's there. Okay, and that way, when you move your wrist, the stick can move. Okay, it's quite a loose grip. The fingers remain in contact with the stick the whole time, but it can move like this. Okay, so you've got a wrist movement and you've got this kind of finger movement here. The fingers are used a little bit. You're kind of pulling the stick towards the palm of your hand as you play like this. Okay, then we used a thing called a matched grip, which means you do exactly the same thing with your left hand. You will see some people playing with a traditional grip like this, but we are going to use a matched grip. So you do the same thing with the left hand, so thumb and the forefinger on the stick like this. Put it closer to the camera, so there you can go, see there. Then the fingers get wrapped around like that. Then you turn your hand so that the thumb is not on top of the stick, it's rotated around like this. Now then, when you strike your drum or your pad, what happens is this. And you will see that my stick, once I've struck the pad or the skin, is landing a couple of centimetres above the skin or pad. I'm going to say skin because on the drum kit it will be a skin. Okay, but the pad here, same thing there. So you're playing like this with this nice kind of loose wrist action. Okay, and you strike the skin and the stick lands a couple of centimetres above it. You don't stick to the skin. And what's very common that I might not be able to see online is if you do this. This is a really common thing, getting your finger up on the stick. Make sure you're not doing that. Okay, have a look at your own stick grips and make sure if that's happening, you just roll your finger around there, and that will give you that nice bounce on the pad or the skin of the drum. Okay, and you're not doing that. Don't stick to the skin. Okay, so first up, we're going to look at page 6 of this book, right? And we're going to do a thing called a single stroke roll. And what you're going to do is you're going to get used to hitting each hand on the skin. Okay, so get good at hitting your right, get good at hitting your left, okay? And then a single stroke roll is alternating between those 2 hits. So you start right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, okay? And we're going to play a couple of different rhythms here. Now we'll go into more depth with these. There's some other pages before this that talk about note values, okay, and we're going to talk about quarter notes and eighth notes, and we'll talk about them in depth later on. But to start with, we're going to start a single stroke roll, so that's the rudiment, going right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand, okay, and we're going to start using quarter notes. So that's counting 1, 2, 3, 4, okay, and when you count to 4, that is 1 bar, okay, so you count 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's 1 bar, okay. So if I asked you to do 2 bars, you could count along with me, and you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. That would be 2 bars, okay. 4 bars, you'd count to 4 4 times, etc., etc., okay. So these are quarter notes, 1, 2, 3, 4, but we're still playing the exercise single stroke roll. So we're going right hand, left hand, right hand, left hand. Get really comfortable with that, and then you could try looking at the next one. Now the next one has a count over it that says 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and these are eighth notes, okay. So they are twice the speed. We still count to 4, but we've got that little plus sign there that says and. We don't say plus, it's an and. It's not a maths lesson, it's a drum lesson. So we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So still 4 beats in a bar, but there are 8 notes in a bar. So you've got to get these little differences between these terms. Do not worry if that's confusing. Just have a listen and try and copy me. Start with the right hand again, and we go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, let's try that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I'm still going right, left the whole time, but we're counting 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then what would be really good here is if you alternated between the 2 bars. So we could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Okay, so that's your single stroke roll. Practice it and practice it and practice it. It's going to get quicker and quicker, and we're going to end up using it for all kinds of lovely fills and things around the drum kit, okay, so it's super important. Okay, so you've got your single stroke roll, right, left, left. Now we're going to move on to a double stroke roll. Now listen to this, I'm going to ask you a question. If a single stroke roll is 1 hit on each hand, what do you think a double stroke roll is going to be? Okay, have a little think. So a single stroke roll is 1 hit on each hand, alternating. What do you think a double stroke roll is going to be? Okay, did you get the answer right? It is 2 hits on each hand. Okay, so we play right, left, right, left. Okay, now if you look at your music, you start off with quarter notes. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, left, right, left. Okay, and then you would speed that up and play eighth notes. So you would count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and you've got that counting, but still going right, left, right, left. And this again is a super important rudiment. You will eventually play this very fast and do all kinds of nice fun things around the kit. Okay, so they are your exercises for today. Single stroke roll, double stroke roll. That's it. Practice them loads, okay? And then we'll move on to the drum kit. Now, I'm going to play, we're going to start a rhythm called a quarter note rhythm. I'm going to play it on the drum kit. I'm going to show you how you do it all with the right drums, okay, using your foot and both your hands. But then I'm going to come back and we're going to play it on here again, because I imagine most of you won't have drum kits at home to start with, okay? Some of you might be super fortunate, but a lot of you I imagine are going to be playing on pads or even cushions or whatnot, or even kind of your hands and your legs, okay? So I'm going to come back in a second and we're going to show you how to do it on a pad. Hi, so I'm sat at the drum kit. So this is an electric drum kit, and everything's in the same place.
as on a real drum kit. It's quite hard, I guess, to kind of figure it out from this compared to what you might recognise as a drum kit. So I'm not going to sort of go through everything today. I'm just going to go through three things. You can just about see my right foot here, and that's playing a bass drum. Now the bass drum on a real kit is the biggest drum, okay, sitting on the floor, and it sounds like this. There. Then the drum that's right in front of you, in between your knees, it's normally a little bit bigger than this little pad here. It's called the snare drum, and it sounds like this. And this is what you might play the rudiments that we've just done. Single stroke roll, double stroke roll. Okay, you play them on this drum here to begin with. Okay, so that's your snare drum. Then we're going to use this cymbal. Okay, so I've got it as a pad here, as a black pad, but it's normally a cymbal which is about 14 inches, and it's two cymbals on top of each other that you clamp shut with your left foot. So your left foot on a real drum kit needs to get used to holding these cymbals together. So imagine you've got two cymbals like this on top of each other, and your left foot, when it closes them, it shuts them together. Okay? And then when you lift your foot up, it lifts them up like this. So it shuts them together and then lifts them up. So your left foot needs to get used to shutting that down. And it sounds like this when it's closed, when your left foot's down, and when you take your left foot off, it'll sound like that. Okay? So you can get shut, open, shut, open. Okay, so we're going to be using these three things: bass drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. And if you look at the book on page number 8, where it says drum kit rhythms, I've tried to colour code those three things. So you have your right hand on the hi-hat in that kind of pinky purple colour. Then you have your left hand on the snare drum there, which is the blue colour, but it's the note there on the third space up of the stave. And then you have your bass drum, which is your right foot on the bottom of the stave, on the first space, down there in red. So if you have a look at those notes and just familiarise yourself with those notes. Now when you're sat at the drum kit, what you'll do is you will cross your right hand over your left hand to play up here on the hi-hat. So you'll see my sticks are crossed round about there. Okay, so you're not crossing the hands, you're not crossing the arms, you're crossing the sticks like this. Okay? And what we're going to do, we're going to play the quarter note rhythm. Now if you look at the quarter note rhythm, you have 4 beats in the bar. Beat 1 is the right hand and the right foot together. Okay, so you're playing 1. Beat 2 is both your hands at the same time. So the right hand and the left hand together, 2. Beat 3 is the same as beat number 1. And beat 4 is the same as beat number 2. Okay, so the idea is that you're doing this. Your right hand is playing 4 quarter notes, keeping time. Okay, and underneath, your bass drum and your left hand are alternating. So why don't you give this a go? Okay, first off, start with your right hand and just tap 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now underneath that, try doing this. Okay, so ignore the right hand for a second. Okay, put that away, and try and alternate your bass drum and your left hand snare. Okay, so you end up doing this thing, which is going. Okay, and I often think of it like keeping time. And if you think about keeping time, you might think of a clock, right? And the noise that a clock makes is tick, tock, tick, tock. And it's quite nice to get those two sounds in your head. Tick, tock, tick, tock. Just think about keeping time and the way those two things are alternating, not playing at the same time, but coming one after the other. Okay. Now you need to put it all together. Okay. So eventually it'll sound like this. Okay. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what you're trying to aim for. Okay. So again, if we just take it back to looking at the music, beat 1, right hand on the hi-hat, right foot together. So you go 1. Beat 2, both your hands together. 2. Beat 3, right hand, right foot. Beat 4, both hands together. So I'll talk you through that slowly, but we'll try and play it like this. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. 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 Okay, So I'm going to count you in. We can do that maybe 4 times in a row, and I'm going to say it out loud every time. Okay? So 1, 2, 3, go. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. 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 Now after a while, hopefully you won't need to count anything, and it'll just start to sound like this. Then we can build the speed up a bit. Get even faster. And it's a super useful rhythm. The quarter note rhythm, don't think of it as a beginner's rhythm. You will always need to use this rhythm. You will always need to practice it. Okay, it's a vital rhythm that you'll need to play. And then we'll do other rhythms that are similar but harder. So yes, learn that. Now let's give it a try, because you might not have a drum kit at home. So give it a try on the practice pad.
Okay, so you've just seen quarter note rhythm played on the drum kit, okay, using the hi-hat, the snare drum and the bass drum, playing like that with your hands crossed over. Now, you do not need to have a drum kit to practice this. You can practice it all on your pad, okay? Now, when you're on a pad, you don't need to cross the hands over, okay? In fact, it can get in the way, it can be a bit of a pain. You end up clicking your sticks together, it's a bit of a nightmare. So we've got to try and think about, people find this a little bit confusing. Your right hand was here, playing the hi-hat. Put your right hand here. The fact that the hands are not crossed over doesn't matter. Okay, it's still your right hand. So in your brain, you're still thinking right hand. Okay, so the fact that your hands are not crossed over does not matter at all. Okay, so right hand is there. Your right foot, I'm just hitting the floor. Okay, so if you're living in a flat or you've got people working downstairs, maybe don't hit that so hard. Might annoy them. Okay, but you're playing right hand, right foot, and then both hands together. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. We try and speed that up and get that count. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it starts to sound like a nice rhythm. Even just here on one pad and my foot on the floor. And we can speed it up a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can practice all of your rhythms in the same way. You do not even need sticks. Just pop the sticks under my arm for a second. Now, if you haven't got sticks yet, or they're on order, or they're coming, whatever, right? You can, or you're just kind of, you're in a part of the house, and your sticks are upstairs, you can't be bothered to go and get them, but you want to do some practice, you can practice like this. Okay, your hands are still performing all the coordination exercises that you need. Obviously, the sticks are nice because you've got the sticking and the control that you need with the sticks, but coordination is in your head. So if you're practicing like this and you're going, right hand, right foot, both hands together. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. Right hand is still your right hand. Okay, it's the thing that was the hi-hat here, but we've put the stick away and we've got the right hand there on your knee. Okay, right hand, right foot, both hands together. Right hand, right foot, both hands together. So you can practice that. I've got another couple of videos on this link, on this Google Drive link. You might want to go and have a look at those. There's other ways of practicing the 8-beat and things with just a pad, and there's a little video about sort of messing around with cushions. You can have a look at that just to try and kind of have a little bit more fun. But that's your basics. So today we've done single stroke roll, double stroke roll, and a quarter note rhythm. If you can get those 3 things absolutely nailed and brilliant for next time, okay, then when I see you, we can move on and do some more interesting and exciting things. Okay, so have some fun, good luck, see you next time.